Hello everyone, I'm here to explain to you how you can convert your Excel file into a Google form. Now that most of us have already created our questions in Excel, this tutorial will help you how to convert this Excel file, the questions in the Excel file, into a Google form without much difficulty. There are a few steps, so please follow through. Please feel comfortable to pause the video or to re-watch at whichever portion that you think is not clear, and then accordingly you can take it from there while you're doing it. So this is a sample questions file that I have created. It's called questions.xls. So it's got just random 3 questions here and the correct options. And I have saved it, and it is kept. It's on my desktop here. It's on my desktop here. So what I'm going to do is this Excel file, I'm going to take it to my Google Drive. So onto my Google Drive, I'll come onto the first page. And here what I'm going to do is I'm going to just drag this file here and just drop it here. I'm just dragging and dropping. I'll maximize this screen and you can see that the file has got uploaded. Okay, so you can click on this and you can open the file. But when you open the file, you'll see that Google opens it in a very weird kind of a screen. So what we do is at the top it says open with a down arrow. We'll click on that and we'll click on Google Sheets. So it will open a new tab and my Excel file will open in Google Sheets. But the file is still an Excel file. You can see at the top here it says questions.xlsx. So that means it is still an Excel file. We want to convert this into a form, so keeping it as an Excel file will not suffice. We'll have to convert this into an Excel sheet first. So for that, we'll go to File and we'll click on Save as Google Sheets. When we click on this, Google takes a moment and opens a new tab. But in the new tab, the same content of our Excel file will come as a Google Sheet. Now, what is the difference between the two? The difference is that when it is a Google Sheet, you will get an extra menu here which says add-on, which was not there in XLSX. When it was an Excel file, that was not there. But when it is a Google Sheet, there is an additional menu here which says add-on. This is what we will be requiring. There is some modification that we will be required for this particular file of ours. Okay, so what do we do here? We have to add 2 more columns on the right side. So what are they? And they can be in any order. The first one, I'm going to call it question type, Q type I can say. The header can be anything in any format, that's no problem. But what has to be written inside here is the word multiple choice. Only the word multiple choice. This is important. Again, capital small doesn't matter, but the spellings have to be correct. It is multiple choice. Then I'm going to click and drag it further down for all the questions because all our questions are supposed to be multiple choice. This is one thing. The second field or the second column that we need to add is a column called required. That means whether this question is required or not. So we want this question to be required. That means it's a mandatory question. So for that, we'll write the word true here and hit enter. So whatever font you write, whatever case you write it in, it will always convert it into capitals. And here we will again click at the bottom right corner and drag. That means we are copying it to all the questions. So all our 75 or 100 questions. So click and drag this multiple choice and true both all the way down. So in this case, there are only 3 questions. So I'm going to leave it here. Another thing, we have already kept AD and HD. So AD is average difficulty. So I'm assuming that they are the 1 mark questions. So I'm going to modify this AD and make it 1 and the HD into 2. So this is the marks that have to be given. Again, the next question is AD, that has to be made 1. This one, change you'll have to make in addition to these 2 columns that we are adding. Now we are ready with our Excel file or our Google Sheet. We'll go on to this menu which says add-ons. We'll click on add-ons, click on get add-ons. Now the add-on that we are interested in to convert the Google Sheet into Google Form is called a form builder. So once the screen loads, we are going to type here in the top here, it says search apps. We'll click on that and we will type in form builder. As you type it, you will get the suggestion. It can be either a plain form builder or form builder for sheets or docs. So at the moment we're going to click on sheets, but for those people who have already created their question bank in Word file also, they can also be importing it, but that later. At the moment for form builder for sheets. So click on sheets, gives you two suggestions. We'll take the form builder for sheets option. You click on this and we will ask Google to install it. So there's an option here which says install. We'll click on install. It asks for some permissions in installing. We'll say continue and then it asks for further permissions. So then it asks us to choose which email ID. This is the same email ID, so I'll click on that and we can scroll further down and give it the permission by clicking on allow. So it takes a little time and it says, yeah, this has been form builder for sheets has been installed. So we will click on done and this window we can now close. What do we do here now is we click on add-ons and here we have got a new option here altogether which says form builder for sheets, and we'll click on that and we'll get the sub menu and we'll click on start here. So when we click on start, we'll get a pop-up on the right side which has got all the options for converting this Google Sheet into a Google Form. So how do we do this? It first asks you to select the sheet. So in our case it's the same sheet, but it's not the full sheet that we want. I'm going to select only a range out of it. So I'll click on range. Now where is this range where the questions and answers and all are lying? The range, if you can see at the sheets here, the content is actually starting from B3 onwards. The first column was a serial number, so I'm going to omit that. I don't want serial number. So the next column is giving me the unit number. So this is the point from where I require the data. So from B3 and you can scroll to the right all the way to K5. This is the point to where we want it. So B3 to K5. So here where it says range, I'm going to select the whole thing and type in B3 colon K5. The case doesn't matter, capital, small, it doesn't matter. We can just leave it like that. Now we come to the next section which says select the pattern. Now the pattern is going to be not just questions or question answers, it's going to be a quiz. So I'll click on quiz and it gives me further options below. So the first option says range includes header. B3 does not include header, so I'm not going to click this. Next it asks me where is the questions, which column is the question. Now our questions are in column D, so I'm going to click on this down arrow and select D. Next it asks me type at column. That means what is the type of question. The type of question was multiple choice that I have specified in column number J. So I'll click on the down arrow and scroll down and click on J. So J gets selected. The next it says description at column. Now we've been asked by the exam department to provide the description as the unit number. The unit number I have specified under B column. So here description at column, I'll click on this and click on B. Next, it asks me where do my answers start. So answer starts at which column and ends at which column. So if you can see the sheets, answer starts at column number E and ends at column number H. So starts at, I will click on that and click and select E, and ends at column number H. Next, required at column. Whether the question is a required question or not. Where is that mentioned? Now that is mentioned here in column number K. So required at column, I will click on the down arrow button and select the option K. Okay, now it asks me one more question, add other at column. So I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to bother with it. I'm not going to go into the delimiter part also. Just leave that also. Then it asks me where is the correct answer, which column has that. So the correct answer is kept in column number I. So I click on the down arrow here and scroll down and find that particular column I and click on I. when the user or the student selects one answer, how many points have to be allocated. Now those points are actually given here where the difficulty level was. I had changed the AD and HT to 1 and 2. So this is where the points are. So that is in column number C. So I'm going to click here at points at column and select C. So in this way, those are the only options that are available here right now. Advanced options gives us the facility to feed in, if you want the user to know that it is a wrong answer and where he should be led to after the wrong answer. Those links can be given here. At the moment, we do not want that. So I'm going to click back on basic options and click on this pink magenta colored button which says get. And the processing happens. And once the processing stops, you can see that further options have been given here. Now, if you see these further options, they are the questions that you had given here. All the questions are there. If you take your mouse over it, it will expand the question and show you, and the type of question, that is, they were all multiple choice and so on. So all of these options are here, and what we need to do next, it asks you the form to which the questions or form fields have to be imported. Do you want to choose one? That means, is there an existing form, or do you want to create a new form? So I will say create a new form. I want to create a new form. So here it asks me for the new form, or you can give your own name also. So you click and select the entire text here, and you can give in the name here. Now the exam department gave us a nomenclature. I am going to try and follow it. BSc CS, I'll say semester 5, and the subject name maybe I'm going to just make a short one, network security. So I'll just information and network security. I'll just click on the tick button here. It processes again and says, okay, the form is created, but at the moment the form is empty. We have not been able to import all of them. So then it asks you whether you want to overwrite form content. At the moment, we can just leave it, and we'll click on import selected. Selected means these questions which are selected. All the ones are selected at the moment, so they will all be taken to the form. I will click on import selected. So let's see what happens after the processing gets over. It gives us a message which says imported successfully, and on the right side there is a small button. When we click on that, we can open the form. So I click on that, and there is my form with the name that I had given, and the questions are there. So what is the capital of India? I'm saying it is from unit 1, so that 1 is coming there. Who is the president of US? Was from unit 2. How many months are there in a year? Was from unit 3. And the options are also there. If you click on this, you can see that the correct answer is also already marked. It is put as a required question. All these things are already given, and the answer points have also been already allocated in the form. You can click on the next question and see this question was a 2-mark question. So it is showing it as a 2 marks question. So like this, for the 3 questions, a total of 4 points have been created already. So our form is complete here. The only thing is, before the form goes to the student, we are supposed to add a couple of things here. So there are a few things that we're going to add. So what we'll do is, we'll click on the first question, and at the sidebar, at the plus button, we'll add a new question. So you can see the question went down. I'm going to click and drag and keep it above the first question. So the first question I want the student to answer is, what is the student's name? So student name I want to ask. Google automatically changes it to short answer because it knows that it may be a short answer. We will click on required and make that a mandatory question. We will not allot any points to this because this is not a scoreable question. The second question that is mandatorily we were supposed to put is the seat number of the student. So we'll say seat number, and again Google changes it to a short answer, and here it gives a small suggestion, because the word number was kept here. So is it a number? So we will let it be a number, so that the user is able to, or the student is able to enter only a number here. Again, we will keep it as a required question, and we will not allot any points to it. Seat number is given, name is given. The next thing we want to take from the student is the PRN number. So I type in PRN number, and Google again automatically changes it as a short answer, says that it should be a number, which is fine with us. We will click on the required option and make it a mandatory question. Keep points as 0. The next thing that we were supposed to put in was the mobile number of the student. So the student was supposed to be putting in that. So we say mobile number. Again, Google changes it as a short answer and makes it as a number. We will keep it at required and not allocate any points to it. Now we are also supposed to take the email ID of the student. So for that I suggest that once these 4 things are added, the name, seat number, PRN number and mobile number, once all these 4 are added and kept as mandatory, we can go to the settings option here, and in the settings come to the general option and click and select collect email addresses. So Google will automatically collect the correct email addresses from the student, and here we can remove restrict to our college people, and we can just come and click on limit to 1 response. So 2 things to be done under the general tab is collect email addresses and limit to 1 response. Then we come directly to the quizzes tab, and here we will ensure that it is make a quiz, and releasing grades we will do it later after manual review. So if yours is immediately, please shift it to later for after manual review, and we will click on save. So once we click on save, all those settings get saved here. Now all this can be done before the exam department gives us their email ID. Once the exam department gives us the email ID, what we should do ideally is, first thing, we click on the send button, but this time we will not send it to anybody. We'll come and click on the link here, we'll shorten the URL and we'll copy this and keep. Okay, so maybe I will open a notepad file and copy this particular link and paste it here and keep. So I'm going to keep it separate, minimize it, and I will click on cancel. I don't want to send it to anybody right now. Now once the exam department gives us the email ID, what we do is we come and open this form again. This time we will come and click on this more button, the 3 dots next to the send button. Click on this and there's an option here which says add collaborators. So we'll click on add collaborators. The email ID that the exam department gives us, we are going to add that email ID here. So in this case, I think I will give some, my own personal email ID, I think. So my personal ID I will give here. Okay, and I will click on done. And it asks you whether you want to make it an editor or not. So we will keep it at editor and we will click on send. This time we will click on send. It's okay because that is the exam department mail ID. It's not to any student. So we will click on send. Now it asks you whether in my case it is outside the GSUIT ID. So therefore it is giving me, we'll say share anyway. Now what we need to do is go back to the more button. Click on the add collaborators one more time, and this time the mail ID that you've added, the exam department's mail ID, click at the right side where it says editor, click at this down arrow and make it the owner. So that email ID becomes the owner of your form. So far you were the owner, then that particular email ID will become the owner of the form. So once you do this, that particular email ID will take over. And you will be able to, that you will not, it will give you a warning that you will not be able to do anything once this is done. So you say yes. At the moment I'm saying no, but you will be saying yes when that happens, and then click on done. Now, once again, when the exam department has given you the email ID, the new email ID, you will open that email ID and open the classroom. Now we need to create the classroom. So let's assume that our classroom is created. And let me open the new tab. Now these are classrooms that I'm already dealing with. So let me just create a new class, and this will be BSc, maybe CS, semester 5 and information network security. So this is the email. This is the new classroom that suppose we create in the exam email ID that we get. And we wait for a moment for Google to create this ID or this classroom. And once that is done, it's still creating. Yeah, it opens up. We will go to classwork, create a new classwork and quiz assignment. Now, what we can do here is, we'll come to this blank quiz. We can delete this blank quiz, go to add, click on link, and this link that you had copied of the Google form, paste that link here and say add link. Once you do that, that particular form will be available here. Then you can give the title and the instructions as per the exam department's instructions, and keep it as a draft only. Leave it here, as in, it will be saved as a draft. We won't discard it since title and all are not mentioned here. That is why it is not allowing me. Otherwise, you can save it as a draft. This option will become available. Save it as a draft and leave it here. So in this manner, we will be able to convert our plain Excel files where the questions are into Google Forms, which the student can use for taking the exam. And these forms we can add into the classroom, which the exam department gives the email ID for. I hope this was helpful. If there is any doubt, do contact me and I'll be glad to help you. Thank you very much. Have a good day.